and welcome! Today I'll be showing you the 4 basic crochet stitches for the super beginner. I will be using US terminology for this video. First, I'll show you how to make a slip knot, then I'll teach you how to chain, single crochet, double crochet, and half double crochet. These 4 basic stitches, again chain, single, double, half double, are going to be the basis and the building blocks for any other stitch you learn. Keep in mind I am right-handed. Overall, the ideas will be the same for left-handed crocheters. Everything will just run in opposite directions. Now, there are a lot of different ways to make a slip knot, but of all the people that I've interacted with, while I continue to find new ways to make slip knots every time, the 3 most common ways are the ones I'm going to show you. Very first, we're going to take our yarn. We're going to have the end that is not connected to our skein or ball of yarn in our right hand. Now, hold your yarn with the bottom 3 fingers of your left hand. Mostly, my pinky does most of the job, but the other 2 fingers can get involved as much as you feel comfortable. Now we're going to take this and run over our index finger, running towards the back. So left to right, front to back. Now we'll take this end, bring it back up, over, and to the left. This is going to make an X on my index finger. I'll pick up this loop that we've made, bring it over that end. Now there's a new little loop right here we can pull through. Grab this guy and pull. Perfect, that's a slip knot. Now the easiest way to see if what you've made actually is a slip knot is if you pull both ends, the knot should unravel itself without having to do any untangling. Boop. Let's show you this way one more time. So again, the short end is in my right hand. I'm holding the length with my pinky finger. My other next 2 fingers can get involved as well. We're going to take this and run over our index finger from left to right, front to back. Bring this end, now go over my index finger, front to back, right to left this time, to make an X. Take this loop, bring it over our short end, and pull on our short end. Bam! That's a slip knot. Okay. This next way is very similar. It starts in the same basic position. You'll have the short end in your right hand. You'll have the length of your yarn running down through the bottom 3 fingers. Again, I just mostly use my pinky of your left hand. We're going to bring this and go over our first finger, just like we started the last time. And this time, this end that I'm holding and the end that's in my hand are going to swap places. So now in my left hand, being held by my little finger, it's going to be the end that is not connected to my skein, and in my right hand is going to be the length of my yarn. I'll bring this up and over my index finger again, just like that. Now I'm going to take my first loop that I made and bring it over my new loop. Then pull on these ends. Bam, slip knot. Let's go again. Front to back, left to right, swap pieces, bring our right hand, or the yarn in our right hand over, bring our first loop over the brand new loop. Slip knot. Now this last way is the way I personally do it. Most people that I meet do it this way, but it's really up to you. So I'm going to be holding the yarn as if I was crocheting. So again, there are lots of different ways to hold yarn when you're crocheting, but this is how I personally do it. My left hand, the bottom 3 fingers, again mainly my pinky, get involved here. And the yarn is going to run from behind to the front over my index finger. Now I'm going to hold this end with my middle finger and my thumb. I'm going to take my right index finger, bring it to the back of my yarn. I'm going to twist downward, then back up. Now I have an X right here. Once this loop is closed, that's not open, like this, it's closed, I'm going to take the long end of my yarn, I'm going to pull it through the loop that was on my forefinger. Bam, slip knot. Let's do that again. So I'm holding the end between my thumb and middle finger. I'm going to twist my length downward, and then pull the length through the loop I just made on my right index finger. Now that I've shown you the 3 different ways that I personally know to make a slip knot, I'll teach you how to chain. Now to chain, now that we have our hook inserted into our loop, we are going to bring our hook to the left, to the back, to the right. Now this is going to make a strand of yarn go over my crochet hook. This is also called a yarn over for obvious reasons. Now once I have that loop of my yarn, we're going to pull it through this slip knot, this first loop that I have on my hook. Just like so. Perfect. You can tell that this is a completed chain because when you look at it, you see a V right here in our yarn. Now let's try again. Can we bring our hook to the left, to the back, to the right? That brings a nice strand over the top of our hook and pull through. And again, we see V right here coming out of the last chain. Now, you don't always have to make it really boxy movements like that. In fact, you can twist your crochet hook as you go around, which is what I typically do. So I'll bring my yarn to the back and grab a loop. So that is twisting my hook in a leftwise direction to bring the yarn over my hook and then pull through. Now, this action of twisting your hook as you work, instead of just moving your entire arm, is going to be very helpful to make sure that you preserve your joints and just going to make you more comfortable overall, and it will help you be faster as well as you crochet. So let's try moving our hook as we go. So I'm going to bring my hook like this, then to the left to hook onto that strand, then pull it through my existing strand or my existing loop, and bam, right there, there's the V. Now I'm going to keep going for just a minute. I'll let you guys watch. Once I get a handful more chains put on, I will show you then how to single crochet. Now to single crochet, very first thing we're going to do is we're going to insert our hook into the second chain from our hook. So this first loop that runs over our hook does not count as a completed chain. So that means this guy, this V, is our first chain from the hook. We're going to go into the second, that's this guy back here. If we go into this first chain and pull something through, we're just going to get a tangled mess right here. You aren't actually getting 2 separate loops. It's the same loop that's just wrapping around multiple different ways. And that is not what we want. If we go into the second right here and pull up a loop, you can see we have 2 distinct loops, not one loop that's twisted around a couple times. Okay, again, we're going to, this first chain is getting a little bit shrunken. Let's fix that guy real fast. Perfect. Now we're going to insert our hook into that second chain from our hook. We're going to draw up a loop. Again, this is called a yarn over, and pull that yarn over through to the front. Once we're at the front, we should have 2 loops on our hook right there. Yarn over again and pull through both existing loops. Let's try this again. We're going to insert our hook into our new chain, yarn over, pull it through to the front. We should have 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. Now I'm going to keep going just for a minute, nice and slow, so you can see what I'm doing. And again, this will come easier and easier with time. If I have to say that there's one trick to crochet, it is practice, practice, practice. Without a whole lot of practice, you can understand the technique, but until you actually practice and get your hours in, if you will, then you're always going to be stuck without actually being able to know how to do it. So this is my last chain, or the very first I made, but the last in my row. I'll insert here, yarn over, pull through. Now I'm at the front and we have 2 loops here. Yarn over, pull through both existing loops. And there we have 1 row of single crochet. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. It's important to always chain 1 at the beginning of all of your single crochet rows. Now turn your work. And we're going to do single crochets across this row. So if you look at the very top, kind of like we were seeing with our chains, you see all of these V's. Each one of those V's is a different stitch. So this first V, that is the chain that we just barely made in order to turn our work. The second V, that is the one we're going to be working into. So keep an eye on that. We're going to insert our hook through underneath both parts of that V. So we have both parts right there, over both loops. We're going to yarn over, pull to the front, yarn over, pull through both loops. We're going to work into that next stitch, that next V right here. Insert our hook, and you should see both loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through. This single crochet, besides a chain, is the very first stitch I ever learned how to do, and I think that's the case for most individuals. I'll just keep going, give you some more examples of single crochet in action. Grab a little more yarn. Perfect. Now we're at the end of our row. If you count, let's see how many stitches I have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 stitches in this row. Now before you would move on to the third row, same thing as always, you chain 1 and then turn your work. If I were to do round 3, which I'm not going to be doing with you guys today, we would be inserting our hook into this hole. So not the first V, because that's our chain, into this second V right here. Now I'm going to unravel this and I'll come back to you in just a moment with another chain ready to learn how to double crochet. Alright ladies and gents, I have another chain here and we are going to learn how to make double crochets. So if you remember, when we did single crochets, we inserted our hook in the second chain from the hook. So not this first guy, but the second guy. For double crochets, we are actually going to insert our hook into the fourth chain from the hook. So not this guy, not this one, not this one, but this one. And we're going to yarn over. Again, that's yarn over before we insert our hook. Insert our hook into the chain. We're going to yarn over, pull that new loop to the front. We should have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2 of them. That leaves 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2 of them. That leaves 1 loop on my hook. That is a finished double crochet right here. So right here we have our chain. We have 3 chains, then we worked into that 4th chain. Let's go again. I'll show you. Yarn over first before you insert into that chain. You can hold this loop with your first finger if you would like. I found that was very useful when I was first learning how to crochet. Now I don't necessarily need to. It's always good practice. So you can hold that loop with your first finger. Insert into our hook or into our chain. Yarn over, pull to the front. And we have 3 loops. 1, 2, 3 on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 of them. Now we have 2 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2. That is another completed double crochet. I'll keep going and I'll finish up this little row, and I'll meet you at the other side to show you what you need to do when you come to an end. Okay, I'm now at the very end right here. We're going to make a double crochet into my last chain. Okay, I've completed my last double crochet of this row. Now, instead of just chaining 1, we're going to chain 3. That's going to be 1, 2, 3. And now turn my work. So same thing as before, we aren't going to work in any of these chains that we just made. Instead, we're going to work into the top of that last double crochet we just did. So yarn over, insert our hook, both loops of that double crochet from row 1 should be on our hook, yarn over, pull back through to the front. We should now have 3 loops, 1, 2, 3 on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we have our chain 3 from the beginning of the round, or the beginning of the row, and then a double crochet. Let's go again, shall we? Yarn over. You can hold this loop if you'd like with your first finger. Insert into that next V, into that next stitch. Yarn over, pull back to the front. You should have 3 loops, 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. So now that's our chain 3 and 2 completed double crochets. I'm going to go ahead and give you a couple more examples. We're to the very end. I found that this double crochet is probably the most used stitch for the things that I make. I do a lot of amigurumi, which is fancy word for stuffed animals, in which you mainly use single crochet. A lot of blankets and clothing items in which you use a lot of this double crochet. Okay, now here can be a little confusing. This right here is our chain 3 from the first round. This would be the very first double crochet we worked. We're going to yarn over, go through the top of that first double crochet we worked of that round. Now we still have this little loop hanging off the side. That is okay. At this point, if you're watching this video, more than likely you are a beginner. There are more advanced techniques to make that not look like a little bulb on the side, but that is something I will cover in another video on another day. For now, the important thing is that you know how to make these double crochets. So again, we've come to the end of our row. We are not trying to do anything with this loopy right here. So we'll chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and keep going. Again, we don't work into these chains that we just made, just into the top of that last stitch. Now I'm going to unravel all of this and get ready to show you how to half double crochet. Alright, I've got a nice little length of chain right here. Now for a half double crochet, you are not going to work into the first loop, or in the first chain from the hook. You're not going to work into the second, we're going to work into the third. So for a single crochet, you worked into the second chain. For double crochet, you worked into the fourth chain. For half double crochet, you'll work right there in the middle in the third chain from the hook. We're going to yarn over. It's going to start just like a double crochet. So yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, pull through to the front. We should have 3 loops on our hook. Now instead of yarning over and pulling through the first 2, we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on our hook, just like that. Again, yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, pull back towards the front. You have 3 loops right there. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Perfect. I'm going to keep going all the way across. I'll let you just watch, give you some more examples. Nice little examples of a half double crochet. All right, right here we're coming to our last half double crochet of this row. Now for a single crochet, we chained 1 and then turned. For double crochet, we chained 3 and then turned. Then this is like the baby bear and the Goldilocks story. This is just smack in the middle, just right. So we're going to chain 2 and then turn our work. And same thing as before, we are not going to work into either of those chains we just made. We're going to work into the last half double crochet, both legs of that V, both loops of that V, the last half double crochet we made. So we'll yarn over, insert our hook. Again, we should see both loops of that half double crochet from the last round. Yarn over, pull through to the front, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Let's go again. Insert our hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Just like before, I'll go ahead and finish up this row. Half double crochet is really nice. It gives a sturdier, less porous, I guess, look to whatever you're making than a double crochet. Also makes a nice thicker fabric than single crochet will. If I'm using half double crochet, it's probably in a hat, or it's probably in some other kind of garment that I'm crocheting. Okay, we're coming up on the last. This is our chain 2 from that very first round. Again, we ignore this. Loop, bring yarn over, insert through the last half double crochet, yarn over, pull through. Now if I were to be making a third row, I would again chain 2, 1, 2, turn our work. Now I would insert our yarn over and then insert our hook not through these chains but into this first V right here, the first chain or the first stitch of this row. There you have it, guys. That is the those are the 3 basic stitches in crochet. Now anything that you're going to make, more than likely it stems from these 4 stitches: the chain, the single crochet, the double crochet, and the half double crochet. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've liked it, give it a thumbs up. There will be more crochet tutorials both for individual stitches and for beginner friendly patterns coming up on this channel soon. Ta-ta for now!